Hello everyone, I'm Bable Jonathan. You welcome to this edition of the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinox television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Thanks for joining us in our top stories. The Cameroon government decides to disburse over 12 billion francs CFA to assist internally displaced persons and Cameroonians seeking refuge in neighboring Nigeria as a result of the deepening Anglophone crisis. And the government of Cameroon has just unveiled a special humanitarian plan to assist the displaced persons. And in this newscast, we shall take you into some of the bushes in the southwest region of the country, where hundreds of Cameroonians are living in deplorable conditions. We shall equally go over to Nigeria to take a look at the deplorable and even precarious conditions in which thousands of Cameroonians are living there, seeking refuge after they fled their homes as a result of rising violence in their areas of residence in their home country. Stay with us. The government of Cameroon has just unveiled a special humanitarian plan to assist the displaced and afflicted population of the northwest and southwest regions of the country. We are talking about Cameroonians who have fled their homes in some villages in the southwest and northwest regions and are living in the bushes as a result of the deepening socio-political and security crisis, as well as thousands of them who have fled their homes and are seeking refuge in neighboring Nigeria. And in a press declaration today chaired by the Prime Minister Philemon Yang, it was announced that the funds amounting to 12 billion francs CFA will be used to reconstruct schools, hospitals, houses, public structures destroyed by those the government called terrorists, and the funds will also assist in the be used in the provision of material needs to 74,994 internally displaced persons in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, and 21,291 asylum seekers in neighboring Nigeria. The Prime Minister announced that 17 ministerial departments led by the Ministry of Territorial Administration, including state institutions, will coordinate the putting in place of the National Solidarity Initiative. Some non-governmental organizations, including the Red Cross and the United Nations Participative Development Program, the PNDP, are also involved. The government has urged the national and international communities in provide those who are seeking asylum in Nigeria and displaced persons in Cameroon with aid, and also to provide psychosocial assistance to the Anglophone population hit by crisis. We shall be giving you greater details on this story in our subsequent news editions. I told you in this newscast we're going to the southwest region of the country, where hundreds of Cameroonians are living in bushes. They fled their homes as a result of rising violence as the crisis continues deepening. Southwest correspondent Davidson Maimo was in some of those bushes, and he brought back this report.
The remnant of houses burnt down at Banga Bakundo are still very fresh, with no signs of reconstruction of the houses, as the people of this area have all run to nearby bushes for safety. Some houses could be seen abandoned by the occupant, with no sign of life in the entire area. Before this reporter could get to the temporary camps where the people are living in the bushes, remnant of a truck burnt along the Banga Bakudu Long Street could be seen. This reporter was told the truck belonged to a brewery company that has been stopped by the Amazonian fighters not to ply the road.
Right inside one of the camps of victims of the Anglophone crisis that is ongoing. This here you find women and girls and even children that have been displaced due to the ongoing crisis right here. And they are right inside the forest that we have struggled to meet them, where of course they are abandoned on their own.
At a temporary camp where the people are living in the bushes, life seems to be okay, with everything being natural. But their stories are pathetic. From the old, the young, and children, including pregnant women and breastfeeding mothers, there is a lot to tell.
We have sound for gun, so we run some can hide for bush here.
Okay.
We just walk up a bush, we see even a cocoa, even a collar, we pick out chop. That's how we live here.
As we do for bush here, the headway, where this man will get this family bill, you need to feed carry people. When rain one fall, or would you go join all man go turn up so the rain court. Because child with the feed slim, they go used to be for like 200 people sometimes. So as from then people they start to transfer, they go build different head them for other places. They take tarpaulin, go build like we serve this, so they for our own self overside, we don't build our own head.
Well, this is baby Cecilia. She is 1 month and some weeks old. In fact, she got into the forest when she was just a few weeks, according to what the mother told us. And gradually and steadily, she's growing here in the forest, here in Banga Bakundu.
While the young men goes to the forest in search of food, the women and young girls stay back at the camp and occupy themselves with this old game.
So we should don't pass our time. Where one for because now under last stick we hide rain. Mere no nakwi. Where in those now cash we just pass our time.
Okay. This is the second camp within the forest of Banga Bakundu, and we have been told that there are many other camps inside. And of course, the people here, for information we gather, they are afraid of anyone that because they are remote, that whosoever is coming here probably is a spy. So the people are even scared of having visitors or people that will come to their aid, and that is one of the problems they are faced. You can see for yourself the type of makeshift structures they are living, and we are getting closer to the heart of the rainy season. And just imagine what these people are going to be going through within the heart of the rainy season.
The remnant of houses burnt down at Banga Bakundu.
We stay with you, Davidson Maimo, to talk about the health situation of the hundreds of Cameroonians who are now living in bushes as a result of the worsening Anglophone crisis, and you report that many of them are exposed to diseases.
With the rains already at the corner and thousands of people living in the bushes of Banga Bakundu, Balangi, Ekelwindi, among other villages along the Moyoka-Kumba stretch of road, especially women and children, risk suffering of an epidemic, with no drugs, doubtful sources of drinkable water, insect bite, and what have you.
I am pregnant.
How many months are you?
6 months.
6 months.
I've been in the forest for about a month and some weeks.
And
I feel I have fever and malaria, especially during this period when there are too much mosquito bites and all these things that are affecting us.
So what drug do you use?
We don't have drugs, we just try to have traditional herbs to cut grasses from one place to another to help ourselves.
This bush they sleep, and so just people were small tend the mosquito. They bite with the picking, but we do nobody run now.
What about drugs? How do you do for Mexico picking no well?
No way. They pick na country grass of this bush.
It is within this court that the Aya Foundation is taking the risks to reach the people in the bushes in assisting them with the provision of some basic drugs such as paracetamol, effergan, providing pad for women, cloth for children, food items such as rice, gari, maggi, salt, and not leaving out biscuit and sweet for the children, and most importantly, the construction of temporary shelter for women and children. The children says they have not been going to school all this while due to the daily exchange of gunshot from the government forces and their Bazunia fighters. You go to school?
No.
Why?
Because of this war.
So what class were you?
Class 6.
Class 6?
Yes.
You wrote the common entrance?
No.
You wrote the first school?
No.
Because you're in the bush?
Yes.
Aya Abine, in his humanitarian gesture, had to celebrate his birthday with the kids in the bushes of Banga Bakundu and Balangi.
no government official, no government institution has so far visited the displaced persons who are living in the bushes, but a Cameroonian humanitarian non-governmental organization, the Aya Foundation, has done so. And here's an extract of the president of that foundation, Aya Abonnez. Take a listen.
So we've been through the bushes where you have tens of thousands of internally displaced persons throughout the southwest and the northwest region. So we're trying to put them into camps so that they should be safe and strong, away from the bullets, the war zones. So we'll build a couple of camps for them, for the women and children most especially, so that they should stay away from the harshness of the sun and the rain. So this we've been doing for over months now. These are just two you've seen, the rest are far into the bushes, so that people like our sister and the kid, the others are far away, they've gotten the information, they'll come here progressively so that they stay safe and strong. We brought some medication for them, some pads, some foodstuffs to keep them alive until the crisis is resolved. So that's what the Aya Foundation has been doing for quite a while now.
This newscast, we shall bring to you a special story on the precarious situation in which some of the detainees, thousands or rather refugees, thousands of them in number, who are living in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now we talk about the ongoing probatory examination in the French subsystem of education, and that examination is taking place in a tense atmosphere with tight security, notably in localities close to the crisis-stricken southwest regions of the country. Now, Franklin Mwabe takes a look at the unfolding of the examination in some schools in the Mongo division close to the border with neighboring southwest region. We're sorry for the poor quality of that report. We proceed up north to talk about the over 800 pupils in the Mayo Chanaga division of the far north region of the country who have not been able to take part in the first school leaving certificate examination because they don't have the birth certificate. Innocent as a husband. Innocent with that story, or rather Franklin Mwabe with that story concerning over 800 pupils in the Mayo Chanaga division of the far north region of the country who have not been able to take part in the 2018 session of the first school leaving examination because they don't have birth certificates. Franklin Mwabe.
The acquisition of birth certificates is not a priority to several parents in the far north region of Cameroon. In Mokolo of the Mayo Sanaga division, statistics have revealed that 8,000 pupils failed to write the Certificat d'études primaire examination in the French subsystem of education due to the absence of birth certificates. The general manager of the National Civil Status Registry expressed bewilderment for the fact that 8,000 pupils did not sit in for the Certificat d'études primaire because of the lack of birth certificates. Some parents attribute the situation to illiteracy.
La maman n'a pas étudié, le papa n'a pas étudié, et puis ils ne savent pas l'importance de l'acte de naissance.
The rate of ignorance, however, is gradually reducing as more parents become aware of the importance of birth certificates. This prevailing reality obtains in this part of the country, though condemned by traditional authorities and civil status registry.
Personnellement, ça me choque parce que les parents n'ont pas déclaré la naissance à temps.
It baffles me because the parents do not make birth certificates after the birth of their children. The authorities in charge are also to blame for not informing the population. To local authorities, acquiring birth certificates is cumbersome and time-consuming. But with the presence of the general manager of the National Civil Status Registry, he will facilitate the process. The National Office of the Civil Status Registry, accompanied by a representative of UNICEF, in a meeting with other stakeholders, have put in place the project to facilitate what they call the universal registration of birth certificates in that area. The visiting mission intends to boost the rate of birth registration in the Mayo Sanaga division. The general manager of the National Civil Status Registry, in collaboration with UNICEF, have made available transportation means to actors of the Civil Status Registry of that locality to move into the interior villages, sensitizing women who deliver at home without a birth declaration the necessity of a birth certificate to a child.
The crisis that had been rocking the Evangelical Church of Cameroon, EEC, since 2017 took another twist today with violent manifestations at the headquarters of the church here in Accra, here in the economic capital, Douala. A synod meeting that was scheduled for today met with stiff resistance, with some Christians who claim that the organizers had no legal right to do so. Details in this report compiled by Armstrong Sander.
It took the intervention of the divisional officer for Vouvray to retain calm at the headquarters of the Evangelical Church in Cameroon. The tense atmosphere followed a meeting of 22 synodal presidents making up the Evangelical Church of Cameroon, ECC. Before the start of the meeting, ECC Christians supporting Pastor Mongole Prizo came out displaying several placards qualifying the gathering as illegal. These Christians indicated that the current EEC Bureau was suspended by the Littoral Court of Appeal, and so any activity organized by the Bureau under the banner of the church is illegal and should be banned. The court's decision was issued on the 10th of June 2018. This claim was, however, refuted by the lawyer of the defense, Barrister Martin Kamaku. According to the legal mind, the court's decision did not stop the current president from exercising his duties, but suspended the taking over of office by the Bureau elected in Gandari in April 2017. He further stated that this decision became difficult to apply given that the current Bureau was sworn in some months ago before the court's decision. The barrister further added that the matter has been appealed at the Supreme Court. After meeting with the parties, the senior division officer for Vouvray, Mr. Marchen Jongwe Joseph Bertrand, called for calm on both sides.
Il était question pour moi de venir rappeler aux deux parties que c'est vrai, la justice s'est prononcée.
It was an opportunity for me to recall the parties that it is true the court spoke in this case through the decision rendered. However, the both parties, especially those who have the feeling of victory, should understand that they are all children of the same mother. There is equally the need for them to allow the rule of law to continue. I ask this fraction to try to acquire the necessary legal instruments needed for implementation. To the opposite camp, I ask them to stop behaving as if the decision of the court was a non-event. In summary, the law is not implemented by carrying placards along the street. And to the other, the decision of the law cannot be disobeyed.
On n'exécute pas une décision de justice en amenant des gens avec des plaques et autres. D'autre part, on ne défie pas la justice.
Supporters of the Prizo Richard Mongole fraction are determined to see no activity take place at the Église évangélique du Cameroun, EEC, under the coordination of the current bureau led by Pastor Samuel Njetoya.
Coming up, we're going to open a special World Cup pitch with a sportsman, Smanjikan Gabriel. Stay with us. During the headlines, I will take you to Nigeria to show you the precarious living conditions of thousands of Cameroonians who are seeking refuge in President Buhari's country. Jesus Christ. We're deeply sorry we're not going to have that report in this newscast. Thanks for staying with us. Goodbye.